Hi. So I have been showing you the last several videos my current planner, which is a Hobonichi Cousin. It's an A5 size. It's for the full year, so she's thick. There are monthly pages at the beginning, weekly pages in the middle, daily pages at the end. But she's thick. I mean, this is only 4 months into it. I still have 8 months to go, and yeah, it's heavy as well. This thing probably weighs 3 or 4 pounds just on its own without all of the added stuff. So I've made the decision to go back to a composition style book. But the problem with what I typically use for a composition book is that it's big. It takes up a lot of space. I have to carry a bigger purse specifically so I can fit it in. So I decided to take one that I had laying around and cut it down so you can see it's about half the size. It now is the same size as a standard large size Moleskine, which is a book that I've used in the past and loved, but is also pretty thick. So like if you look at the three together, yeah, I mean, no contest, right? So I've decided to use this planner more for memory keeping because I really have enjoyed the journaling. I haven't remembered to do it every day. There's a big chunk in the middle where I just kind of, I don't know, I was kind of blue for about a week and a half. I just didn't really get into it much, but I'm going back. I used sticky notes to give me an idea of some of the things I wanted to write down on those days. But I really have enjoyed, I mean, let's go back to the beginning of January here. You know, I've been writing daily things down, using some reference pages. Look, I actually read a book. You know, just decorating, adding in little snippets. I had to go to the doctor for something. You know, this is my packing list for my cruise that I went on. You know, so I just haven't really enjoyed using this for reference. Like here's some job board things that I've looked at for work search. This is my itinerary for my cruise. My daughter got engaged. You know, so just different things. And I really don't want to give that up, but it's getting out of control. And I've never used a daily layout or like done a daily thing in a planner before. So it's definitely bulking up faster than I was expecting. And even though I love literally everything about this, it's just too darn big. So with that, I'm going to be using this as a memory book. But one thing, so usually my weeklies, I would fill them out, decorate them, whatever. But I've decided to try time blocking in this to see if it's something that I want to try on a daily basis. And if I do, I can still use this because I won't do time blocking and then like carry it around with me, you know, to the store and whatever. But I'm really interested in seeing how I use my time. So this is just kind of a practice run for seeing what happens in a day for me right now and how I can improve my productivity, I guess. I don't have a job at the moment, so it's not like I have to worry about getting up and going to work and all of that. So I want to see how I use my day. So I'm using my highlighters. They work really well in here. There's absolutely no bleed through. I love it. I've color coded it a little bit. Sleep is in blue. Driving is in orange because I do spend a good chunk. I mean, I spend an hour a day driving, just getting the kids to and from school. Meals, I'm trying to squeeze in more sleep. So I think, so like here, I woke up at 6:30 and I went to bed at midnight. So, I think at the top here, I'll write 6.5 hours of sleep. So the night before, oh, whoops, that's this night. Let me fix that. Sometimes thinking is hard. So I guess technically I don't know what time I went to bed the night before, but you know what? I'm gonna guess. It was probably around midnight. That seems to be my go-to. I'm just gonna put approximately. There we go. So I'm trying to get up to 7 hours of sleep. So I most of the time get up at 6:30. So that means if I can get to bed by 11, that's my goal. Anyway, so like Pink is appointments. So like today from 11 to God knows when, I have a guy coming to replace the countertop in my bathroom. Tomorrow I have a guy coming out to give me an estimate to fix my basement bathroom. Yes, this family of 5 is down to 1 sink. It's tragic. Then my son has a music program. I have a chiropractor appointment. So I'm trying to see what I do with the rest of the time because, I mean, sleep takes up that much of my day. There's only so many hours. So that's what this is going to be for. I am going to continue filling out the monthly, but now it's going to be more of a memory keeping situation. Like, oh yeah, that day my cat had a vet appointment, whatever. And I do like decorating the little monthly pages, but it's going to be more of a memory keeping situation. I do actually, to be honest, look back through my old planners. My son had a fine that he needed to pay, so he thought he paid it. It turned out that he didn't, but I was able to go back and look in my old planner and be like, oh yeah, that thing, he didn't pay that. So, and I do intend to continue filling out these pages at the end because they're just fun. So there's the status report. So what I've done so far is I took this, I just used my utility knife, cut it down. I measured it first because I had originally planned on using it in here. This is just, literally I took this, I bought it from Michael's. It's an 8.5 by 11 sized sheet. Now it might be slightly bigger than 11. Nope. It's literally 8.5 by 11. It's just a sheet of leather. You buy it, it comes straight. And then I took this, the inside is kind of rough. You can see it's just for leather working. That the outside gets a nice patina on it. I actually do really like when it gets a little scratched up. And then I bought some elastic cording. I took I have used an awl in the past for leather work. I don't remember what I used for this. I think I used the end of a compass, you know, that you stick in and then you put the little pencil in, you draw circles. I used the pointy part of that to make the holes. And then I just threaded the elastic through. So I planned on using it for this. So that's why I originally cut it down to this size. Because I can pop it in there. There you go. Boop. Traveler's Journal. And then I do have some inserts that go in here, although I'm realizing I don't have them right here next to me. But I have 2 more inserts. One is a little notebook that's completely blank inside. The other one is lined. So if I do decide that I want to add to this, I have... I've purchased in the past these Traveler's Journal insert, you know, adder, extenders, whatever you want to call them. So I can at some point add a few more books to this if I want. And I also have this. I made my own little extender. This came with another bullet journal that I had, Traveler's Notebook that I had bought a while back. And I planned on using this as maybe a wallet / planner, which I have done before in these types of setups. And I really liked that setup. But for right now, with all the running around I'm doing, sometimes I just grab my wallet and throw it in the car, and I don't want to do that with this. So I decided I'm just going to go without the cover for now. But down the road, if I do decide I want to expand, I can certainly do that. And this whole thing cost me like $8 because I used a coupon. And you can still see the little, I don't know if you can see that little marks where the label was stapled on, but that's on the back. Nobody sees that, right? Anyway, so all of that is to say, here she is. I have not put a cover on it yet. I'm thinking I need to go down and look through my scrapbook paper stash. I don't have any up here, but what I do have is clear contact paper and some really cute stickers. This sticker book, I have 3 different iterations of this, but this is the Bibliophilia copy, I guess. And I love it. I bought it at Target back before I knew Target kind of sucked. It was $25.99, but when I bought it at Target, it was 30% off. So, but every page has this in between. This is the sticker backing, so but it's so pretty. And then stickers. This one has alphabet stickers. It has stickers that reference, see, here's alphabet, stickers that reference books. So there was an Alice in Wonderland sticker. It has, like, here's a quote from Jane Austen, Northanger Abbey. But it's just got some really kind of fun stickers. And so I think that I will decorate it with a few of these stickers, maybe put my initials on, you know, put some floral things on there, maybe some quotes, and then cover it with contact paper. I think that's my plan, because it's my planner and I can do what I want. Anyway, so what I've got in here so far, cover up that inside cover too. I used to use an index for all of my pages. I haven't been doing that as much, but I probably will go back to, I'll at least do an index page for reference, you know, pages. But I'm planning on doing a lot of my, like, just lists and things in this book. And the reason for that is, first of all, I already have some of them down. So for instance, TV shows that I'm watching, you know, books that I've read. Look, I read a book. So I'm not going to straight up transfer everything from this book over to this book. This is going to be more like I'm at the store and I remember, oh yeah, I need to buy that thing, and I'm going to jot it down. I might move my some of my reference information, phone numbers and things like that in here, for just in case I'm out and about and I need a phone number. But this is going to be more of a monthly / weekly / you know, I need to do a quick list of something book. And that's where I'm at in my life. I don't feel the need to carry my entire life around with me all the time like I used to, partly because I think I'm in a pretty stable place in my life in terms of, you know, it used to be when my husband was alive and was working and the kids were all in sports, and it was a way of controlling the day as I had my planner. And I don't feel that same need anymore. I feel like things have calmed down a little bit in terms of just straight up activities. And so now I can kind of, you know, I don't know, pare down, I guess. And I'm not carrying a big diaper bag anymore, and I don't have room for a giant planner. So, wow. All of that is to say, here she is. So the thing about this planner, though, is that because it is sewn in the middle and there's thickness to it, the inner pages are going to have fewer boxes across than these outer pages. That's just how geometry works. And so I will probably have to adjust my layouts. There's a little bit of paper sticking up. As I get towards the middle, just because there will be slightly less space, maybe one, you know, block's worth of space less. But we'll get there. Another thing I did too in preparation, I always take my composition books, I turn them back on themselves, kind of beat them up a little bit, and then I take it here, I take a ruler, I put it in maybe, you know, 1/2 inch, and I bend the pages back a little bit, and that just allows it to be a little more flexible so that I can really jam a lot in here and the spine doesn't get too overworked. There we go. Sometimes you really gotta, there we go. So now it will lay more flat when I open it. And the other downside of this is there is this bump that you have to deal with. And sometimes that means that maybe my sticker, if I put it too close to the edge, might come up a little bit. So, you know, there are definite downsides to this. But the plus side is I can doodle in here. I can scribble. I don't care. It literally cost me 50 cents. This notebook is a Unison brand. I guess I cut off. Oh, no. Well, yeah, you can't see it. Unison. I get these every year at Target, or I have for the past several years. I'm waiting for the year that they decide not to carry them. But every year for the last, gosh, 6-7 years, I've gotten these for 50 cents. They've never changed the price. I only ever see them in person somewhere at Target during back to school. I've never seen this brand anywhere else. And I have seen it online, but not in the grid paper and not for 50 cents for sure. And Target does not ship them. They don't carry them in stock. They get shipped to the store, and then once they're sold out, that's it for the year. As far in my experience. So I do tend to stock up on these. And when I cut it, I don't know if you can tell, it's a little uneven. But like I said, this is the planner I'm just going to throw in my purse. And if something happens to it, it's not the end of the world because it was 50 cents. So here's my first, let me show you the monthly first, I guess. Oh, here's May. These alphabet stickers came from this bibliophilia book. I was kind of surprised to find 3 that are in the same font, so I was excited about that. Although the A is bigger, I don't know. Anyway, so it's color-coded based on what I had in my previous planner. So I'll move this over. I typically am in black or dark blue. Daughter, son, son, son. Everybody has their own color. And I usually just keep that inside. But my daughter's stuff, I don't typically, you know, she's an adult. So basically, like if she's going to be gone somewhere or if she has an event or something. But I don't keep track of her like daily stuff. This son, I do keep track of his work schedule because it's just easier for me to know who's around and who's not. And then these 2 are still in school. So this darker green, the only reason I've been using the darker green is because it's the color that came with my friction erasable pens. I'm not loving the dark, so I am going to go in and do a light green for him, partly because it's easier to distinguish between the other colors. We'll see. But generally, I use these friction 0.7 clickers. I don't always like clickable pens, but they're erasable and they work well on my monthlies because sometimes things change. Like I remember one time my son did track, and then after the first meet, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. So then I took my clicker, and I was able to go erase all of his track times that I had written down. Anyway, so this is May. This is 6 boxes across, 7 boxes down. I just measured out how there was like 24 boxes across. I don't count the box on the very end because it's not a full box. So usually too, what I'll do is somewhere in the back, I'll write like 24 boxes across, and then it's 40 boxes down. So 40 up and down. And that just helps me when I'm planning layouts to be like, oh yeah, that's how much space I have to work with. So I just divided it out. So there's 5 weeks, and they're 6 by 7. Then, and as you can see, really, it's not that much smaller than what I already had. I mean, the boxes are not that much different in size. They just have a different number of boxes because these boxes are 3mm, while these are 5mm. So that's the biggest difference too between going from here to here in terms of the background is I do have to write a lot smaller in this book, but that's okay. This is a good size for me in terms of my handwriting being the best and being able to read it easily and stuff. Okay, so this is this week. I used this, a little sticker kit. My cord got in the way. That I got, maybe I might not have put it back in. Oh, here it is. From Lisa Lorena Plans. I really, really like her sticker kits. She has bigger ones. She has all different sizes. This is Hobonichi Weeks size, which is slightly slimmer than this. It's actually, this is how wide it is. Here, this is the width of it. So quite a bit smaller than this. But I like that the size, you know, all of the boxes fit. And as you can see, I can use the other stuff to kind of decorate. This has the cute little checklists at the top. And I don't typically use the weekly trackers or the, you know, some of them I just don't use. And what I tend to do with these, when I get to a point where my layout kind of looks like this and I have a lot of stickers that are unused, I will either put them in a Ziploc bag and then eventually just donate that bag of stickers to the teachers at the high school next door that I know quite a few of them use planners and use stickers in their planners. So I just kind of save them up and then I take them over and throw them in their teacher's lounge. I used to work there, so it's okay. And they almost always get used, and whatever doesn't get used, they just either throw away or give out to students or whatever. So it doesn't get wasted. If you ever get to that point where you have maybe a sticker kit and you don't use all of the stickers, you don't have to hold on to it. You can throw it away. You can't really recycle this because it's the kind of plasticky paper, but you can give it to your 2-year-old grandkid. You know, there are lots of ways you can use up these extra stickers. You can donate them to preschools, elementary schools. The teachers all love getting extra stickers. So you don't have to throw them away. You can if you want. It's okay. Do what you want to do. But you can definitely also donate them since you can't recycle them. So there you go. Environmental rant for the day. Anyway, so this week we're going end of April into May. So this is the end of April. So I did have to reference, obviously, my old planner for that. So here I had these 3 days where I had some appointments. And then in May, I just rewrote everything into my monthly. I'm going to try this out again. I used to do a little top 3 or top 4, in this case, at the top. And these little checklists are perfect because each heart fits on a line. I love it. And then I do my kind of running to-do list on the side, but this just gives me a focus. Like I absolutely have to do these 4 things today. I have to. And then this is stuff that I'd like to get done, but it may not happen today, and that's okay. And then obviously my appointments. And then I do like to kind of divide my weekend a little bit. So I like this little weekend sticker. And then this day, I do write the times, if you can see down the side. So this, my son has a track meet, and it's going to go until like 6 p.m. So I'm going to draw an arrow. I don't usually do that, but it's going to be a long meet. And they changed the time. So now it's going to be at 11 instead of at 5. So I'm going to put 11 to 6. So I'm hoping it doesn't take that long, but we'll see. And then my son's girlfriend's birthday is tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Today's Wednesday. It's Friday. Whoops, I just realized I put my recycling sticker and my garbage day sticker on the wrong day. That's the downside, too, of switching from one planner to another, is in this planner, there's 3 days here and 4 days here, but I flipped it. So now there's 4 days here and 3 days here. So my Thursday is on the wrong side of the page, so. But thankfully, this paper is pretty forgiving when it comes to certain stickers. sometimes you can take them off pretty easily. Other times you can't, but as you are using your stickers, you kind of get to know which ones are which. And then my son has a music program on Thursday. And then, of course, at the bottom, I always write what we had for dinner. I don't pre-plan my meals in terms of what we have which day. But if I know, like this night, we're going to have a program. So that's part of why I like the times, because then I can go, oh, we should have dinner before that. But I don't necessarily go, okay, Thursday we're going to have, meatballs or something, because it changes. Sometimes we order out. Sometimes I'm too exhausted, quite frankly, to make dinner. So sometimes we have fendies, which is when everyone fends for themselves. That's what we had for dinner last night. And usually my youngest is 12, so usually everyone's able to scrounge up something to eat if I'm not willing or able. Let's put it that way. And then I love these little tabbies. I get these from, I think these are 3M. Oh no, they're Post-it. These are also Post-it, although they're not these ones, but they come in these handy little dispenser things. You just pull it up one tab at a time. These are great. They're flat. You can throw them in your bag, like my zipper case that I keep in my purse. I got this at a little store called Attic Salt in our mall. It's just the bare necessities. But it's a thin, kind of small case, so I can just shove this in here and put it in my purse. It stays pretty thin, and it's about the size of, a pen. And I have all my necessities in here just for if I'm, like, say I'm at a, track meet and I have time to make a few notes. It's perfect, but I don't generally keep those in there all the time. So, but I have my week marked. I have my month marked. These little tabs are actually really easy to write on. The one downside of using the Post-it ones is that they're plastic, and so you can't really write on it with just like a ballpoint pen. I mean, you can, but it's not as easy, and sometimes it'll rub off. So I tend to have to use my Sharpie fine tip, ultra fine point, to write on these. But these ones from Avery are paper. They're thick paper, but they're paper, and then this part is plastic. So you can write on it with a Sharpie fine point, or you can use a regular pen, or I like to write on them also with like my tool, or I really like these Sharpie fine point, or these Sharpie felt tip pens. And so these are from Avery, and they work really well. They come in silver, gold, bronze. I wish they came in just like a gray or a white with the paper, but I haven't found any like that yet. Some of the other tabs I like to use also are these wider Post-its. They're just a little bit wider, but they're good for marking file folders, but sometimes I'll just cut them because they are pretty wide, like I said. And then, let's see, do I have the other ones in here? Nope, I don't. But those are the ones I use mainly, is Post-it and Avery for those. So I did the next 4 months. I did May, June, July, August, and I left about 5 spreads in between. So those will be the weeks. Because like I said, I'm not going to do as many references in here. I'm going to use this mainly for like my lists and stuff. But I only did the next few months because, as can be figured out by watching my old videos, 4 to 6 months is about the most I can last in a planner before I start getting itchy and want to switch. Although the last composition book planner that I used before this one, I used for, I think, 9 months. So it can be done. But I didn't want to get too crazy and do too far ahead, especially since it is quite a bit smaller than I'm used to working in terms of this size of square. And I may decide to change it up, or that I don't like it. And like I said, it's 50 cents, so I can just literally take the tabs off and recycle the whole thing if I want. Love it. But I did the next few months. I did use more stickers from that Bibliophilia book. I used some stickers from just some Happy Planner stickers. August, I knew I wouldn't be able to fit that all the way across here, but I still have room on my monthlies for my to-do lists. And I've got all these weeks in between. So as we go along here with this new planner, summer's coming up. It's kind of hectic this time of year, so I haven't been doing as many videos, but with summer coming up, we'll have a chance to do a few more. But I will do a plan with me for next week in here and show you guys kind of how I set it up. But, and if you're curious, I did measure this, by the way, and it measures 5 inches across and 8 1/4 inches. I wanted to make it slightly smaller than this cover so that when it was strapped in, it wouldn't extend past the end of the leather if I wanted to use this cover. And that's a good size. I think it'll fit in all of my bags. And you can see the lines where I was measuring. I was trying to decide how big I wanted it. I have a smaller leather carrier or leather cover that I had thought about using for this, but I decided I needed that extra, 3/4 inches on both sides. But I will decorate this. I will probably use a combination of stickers and scrapbook papers, and then I will cover the whole thing with, or the covers at least, contact paper, clear contact paper, which I get usually from Walmart. Dollar Tree used to carry, smaller rolls of it and more narrow rolls. But I started using contact paper when I taught preschool. This is clear. This one is shiny. You can also get like a matte finish. But clear contact paper works for a ton of things. And like it says, it may shrink a little bit, but that generally is if you're using it on like a counter or whatever. I've never had issues with it shrinking on a planner, but you do have to be careful because with the clear contact paper, when you're installing it or adhering it, you sometimes can get fuzz and like little bits underneath between your book and the contact paper. So just be sure that your book is clean and there are no like, stray hairs or crumbs or anything on it when you put the contact paper on. But that's it. I hope you liked this video. I hope it inspired you a little bit to maybe cut down your own composition book. I know there are other creators out there that do the same thing. And I can't think of her name, but I know there's one in particular. I'll try to remember to put her name in the description. But I mean, you can literally plan with whatever you have around your house. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And with all of the fun financial times we're going through, if you have a 50-cent composition book laying around, give it a shot. All right, see you guys next time.